Hello, friends. How are you? Today, I want to talk to you about 5 signs that they are not into you. Yes. So today we're going a little bit into relationships, and I know it's a sensible topic, and I know there's a lot of advice out there on the internet about how to tell if someone's interested or not, and lots of experts, right? People with a lot more experience than I have giving you advice, right? But today I want to give my personal take on that. The things that I've observed and learned over time that made me able to tell when someone is not that interested or not that invested. I think it's important to talk about these topics regarding relationships because that's also a part of your life that you want to grow in. Okay, don't make the same mistakes over and over again. We go into relationships and we should see them as an opportunity to learn and grow as people. Okay, and also, I don't want to give you any harsh advice. I think that sometimes the professionals, advisors that are, creating content on relationships out there, they can be quite rough. And they can be like, too straight to the point and not really share in a way that it's, you know, relatable. It seems like they know they succeeded, they're married, and they are, in relationships, and it seems like they are, in a way, they are an authority. Okay, I don't question that. But I think that because they talk about the same thing over and over again, they might come across as rude sometimes. And I've taken a lot of harsh advice. There's literally people on the internet yelling at you about relationships. I mean, why do that? Like, just talk to people like, like a normal person and share your wisdom and your knowledge about relationships in a more, kind way. People are going through tough times, especially if you're trying to get into a relationship. You're probably already in an emotionally vulnerable state. You don't need someone to be, you know, rude and short with you because you're still going through the motions of deciding whether the relationship is suitable for you or not. And that's a very important position that you need to take in your life. Okay, don't let other people decide for you. Decide yourself what you consider is a good relationship, what you consider makes you happy. Because if you are just, living on others people's agenda, you're always going to be played around. Okay, so make sure that you know what you consider a good relationship before you start considering even being in a relationship with someone. You are in charge of analyzing. You are still vetting people in your life. So don't ever think that they need to choose you. No, you need to choose them. You need to decide for yourself if this person is worth of your time, attention, affection, love, and so on. Because we have so much to give in relationships that we oftentimes forget about that. We're so worried that the other person's going to like us or not, because for some reason we already like them, and we forget that we also need to decide if that's the person that you want to be with, that's the person you want to spend time with. But I can talk about that in another video. What I want to talk today, though, it's the 5 signs that they are not into you. As a straight woman, I cannot talk about LGBT relationships. But I think people don't change much when it comes to romantic attachment. So there's probably advice that you can transfer to, whatever sexuality you have. But as a woman, straight woman, I can only speak of my own experience, and that's what I'm doing today. I'm talking about what I went through, what I believe is true, what works for me, what it's sometimes obvious, but we don't pay attention to. And I hope this can help you if you are going through something similar right now. If you're asking yourself, right, do they really like me? That's already a bad sign, honestly. So the first thing I always notice is that they don't ask questions. They never really ask deep questions about yourself. They are okay with like surface level conversations, right? They're going to talk about their favorite movie, their favorite band, what they work with when they went to college, what kind of things they do in their free time. They're going to talk about their family in a very superficial way. But everything is going to be superficial, right? There's no interest in going beneath the surface. There's no interest about your family. What's your relationship with your parents? What do you do when you're feeling sad, there's no conversation about emotions. And of course, I'm not talking about like first few dates. I'm talking about like over time. You know, the more you see the person, the less you feel like you know them. And that's already a sign that they're not investing because they're not sharing, you know. For people investing in a relationship, it's part of also being able to share how you feel emotionally about that person and about yourself and about the world and how you perceive yourself and everything. Honestly, there isn't like a way to put it to words exactly, but when you know, you know when someone is just tagging you along, just stringing you along, you know, with conversation that is superficial, that goes around in circles but never gets nowhere, you know, and anywhere, sorry. And you can tell the difference because if you had friends in your life, you know that it's easy to share things with them. You know that they ask you questions and they're interested, genuinely interested in your life. So you can also expect that from a partner. You should expect that from a partner. So if they don't ask questions, okay, about what do you like, what do you do, what are your hobbies, and whatever, that's already a bad sign. I think the biggest one, okay? Because some people can even do that, but that also doesn't mean that they're interested, okay? The second thing I noticed a lot is that they disappear. If someone can go like 2, 3 days, 5 days without talking to you, they probably don't miss you. That's like an obvious thing, right? Because when you're building a relationship, it's different than building a friendship. I can go days without talking to my friends and still have a connection with them because it's a friendship. But in a relationship, I want to know, I want that person to be part of my life in a more intense way than friends do, right? Because that's the purpose of romantic relationships. You want a partner, you don't just want a friend. Because if you want a friend, well, that's how you lead. But you shouldn't like kiss your friends. So there is a difference, right? You don't wine and dine your friends. I mean, you could, but it's not in a sexual romantic way. It's more like in the lines of friendship, okay? You guys know the difference. So yeah, they disappear. They disappear. They go the whole weekend without texting, or they just, you know, go quiet for so long. And honestly, if you are going through something similar right now, don't text them. Don't ask what's going on. Don't try to be, you know, keeping the conversation, initiating all the time. If you try to initiate, they don't try again. They don't try back on the next day. You know, they don't text you back or anything with that like that. That's already another sign that they're not interested, okay? Because if someone is interested in you, they will talk to you. They will have things to say. They will share anything about their lives, really. If they have the most boring job and lifestyle, they're still going to talk to you about it. And if they feel some type of way about that, they're going to try to do interesting stuff just to have something to talk to you. So that's how it should feel like when someone is interested in you. They will reach out, they will make an effort, okay? Third thing, they don't make plans. Not like short term nor long term plans. They don't talk about what you do next month. It's very easy to tell. For example, you guys go on a date, a second date, a third date, but you never know when the next date's going to be. You know, nothing is settled, nothing is figured out already. You go on a date, it's fine, it's cool. They text you the next day, say it's great, but they never follow up with another date, another plan. You can have an initiative and say, let's hang out and blah, blah, blah. But you also need to pay attention if they're also having an initiative. Okay. It should go both ways. And if they're not reaching out and they're not like doing something and suggesting things like, oh, let's go to the movies or let's have a picnic or let's go to a restaurant, that's probably another sign that they're not that interested. Also, these people are so good at being vague. When men, especially, right? When someone is not interested in you, I don't want to talk specifically about men because I don't want to be coming for men, but that's my experience, right? I only dated men, unfortunately. But they tend to be very vague. They never specific, they never say things. Clear being clear about stuff, it's not an option with these people. Because they want to keep you around. They want to keep you invested. Okay? People benefit a lot from the attention you give them. People feel good about themselves when we give them attention, when we are available, when we are around. So that's why you cannot underestimate your value in someone's life, because the fact that you are there, it's already a lot for them. Okay? So that's why you need to pay attention. Where is your focus and your energy going? Because some people are just not worth your time. Some people are just not worth your energy, your good vibes, your laughs, your love even. Oh my God, So these people tend to be so vague and so not about it. They are so like nonchalant about things, and they don't make plans, and they just they talk about their lives but they don't go into details. They use words like someday, sometime, in the future, and it's so annoying because you want to know when. Okay, when are we going to see each other again? When are we going to do this together? I want to go to the museum with you, for example, and they go like, yeah, sure, let's go to the museum, but they never actually make plans to go with you. So it's like, come on, right? You need to be really distracted not to notice when someone is being vague around you. And I think the most important sign that someone is not into you is that you're watching this video, honestly. Because what makes us wonder actually what are what are the intentions, right? What makes us question that is the fact that they're not clear. They're not clear, they're vague. They leave that door open because this is a strategy that men use a lot. They give you space and time for you to fill up those gaps on your own. So you can imagine lots of things going on. You can go and watch lots of tarot readings on YouTube. You can write pages about it. You can journal. You can meditate. You can go for a run and become obsessed. And that's the problem with people that are distant and vague and not interested in something real, because they never make you feel safe. They never make you feel like you are wanted and desired in that relationship. They make you feel like you're still tiptoeing around them, like you're still unsure, like nothing is safe, nothing is certain. And that's not a nice place to leave a person, okay? People say that you need uncertainty in a relationship to keep things going. But God damn it, why can't we just like love people for whatever way they are and just like, be ourselves? I know we can do that, okay? I'm aware, I've watched enough advice to know that it's not that simple. But it should be more simple than what it is right now, guys, for fuck's sake. Like, we are trying to love. It shouldn't be difficult, but there's a whole construction around love that makes it so hard and so complicated at times and so draining. Okay, but what I'm trying to do today is to make it easy for you. Because what do you do when you realize that you feel anxious, that you're overthinking, that, that your mind, it's always going back to that problem, right? That person becomes a problem and you feel anxiety. I remember that I once was meeting this guy and I was having all these symptoms, okay? And I couldn't even be excited about going on a date with him anymore because he was stressing me out. And I don't want to be stressed out in a relationship. I want to be happy, I want to be in love, and I want things to run smoothly, because life will throw curveballs no matter what. In spite of your relationship being good or not, in spite of you, being with that person for a week or months or years, life is going to be difficult on itself. So why should my relationship be a hardship, And if I feel those things, if I feel anxious and if I feel like I'm overthinking, I call myself. If I notice that I'm overthinking, I just drop it. Honestly, I drop it. Because if that person's not interested, there's nothing I can do to change their mind. Okay? If someone is not interested in you, there's nothing, absolutely nothing you can do to change their mind. If they wanted to, they would. That's a honest, real thing. Like, if someone wants you, they will show. And if you show it back, they will keep showing it to you. When you are with the person that's interested, I don't mean like the right person, but the person that is at least interested in you, you will know, because there will be no gaps. There will be no doubts. They will be there reassuring, reaffirming, talking to you, keeping you around, okay, making plans with you, showing genuine interest, okay? we need to remind ourselves that these are the relationships that we want to invest time in, not with the guarantee of this is going to work out. There's no guarantee for anything in life, okay? Nothing is guaranteed, especially when it comes to other people. You can never know what's going to work and what's going to fail. You have no idea. We can't have any idea, okay? We need to accept that. It's not a fairy tale, it's real life. So you need to understand that you need to see at least potential for that to be a good relationship. Because if from the beginning you see these signs that they're not interested, but you still insist because you feel something, how can you possibly like someone that doesn't like you? I think, sorry, I'm starting to get angry. But I think that that's something I struggled with a lot. And liking people that didn't like me back and being interested in someone, I think that sometimes we just love the pining, the yearning, but that is costly. That is painful, unless you are a creative person. You might enjoy it, but if you're just trying to get into a relationship with someone and build a life or whatever plans you have for yourself, it's just draining, and it can cost you your hope, your faith in love, your faith in yourself, your faith in people. Okay? So, yeah, if you're out there in the world trying to get into a relationship, trying to meet new people, focus on these things, okay? Beware of those people who are showing you who they are. Because it's not what they say, it's what they do. That's what's going to tell you if they're interested or not. If they're really down for it, or if they're just, spending time, wasting time. Okay, some people are just fine with wasting your time, with being around and not really being interested in you. They're okay with it. Are you okay with it? That's the question you need to ask yourself. Are you willing to accept that kind of people in your life? I'm not. I hope this video helped you somehow. I'm sorry about the ranting and the emotional turmoil, but I hope this helped you. I'll see you next time. Bye.